Welcome to Ascension HFY Extra, where the boundaries of space, loyalty, and the unknown are pushed to their limits. Prepare yourself for an exhilarating journey that challenges everything you thought you knew about humanity's place in the galaxy. In today's episode, we dive deep into a moment of unexpected power and unity, where a simple human and her loyal companion, a golden retriever, shatter the expectations of the most advanced interstellar civilizations. The Galactic Diplomatic Corps has long viewed humanity as primitive, dismissing the concept of human-animal bonds as mere relics of the past. But what happens when a bond of loyalty and love becomes the key to survival? When the value of a companion is more than just physical strength, but the essence of what it means to be truly powerful. Follow the ambassador and her dog as they face the ultimate test, an intergalactic force that threatens to crush them. Witness how, through sheer determination, love, and the unbreakable bond between them, they rewrite the laws of diplomacy and survival. What seems like a simple relationship turns into a force no one expected, shifting the tides of power in the most unlikely of ways. Can a bond of loyalty and love truly be the most powerful weapon in the galaxy? Watch now to find out. And remember, we want to hear your thoughts. What did you think of the ambassador and her dog's incredible journey? Drop a comment below and share your theories. Let's keep the conversation going. The scene opens with the soft hum of an advanced, futuristic space station, the very essence of galactic grandeur. Harmonious Unity Station stretches out across the black velvet of space, its shimmering spires and gleaming chrome surfaces reflecting the distant stars. The architecture is like something out of a dream, a blend of sharp angles and smooth curves that seem to defy the laws of physics themselves. This place, where the most advanced civilizations from across the galaxy convene, exudes an air of superiority, power, and a silent, judgmental gaze directed at all who dare to approach. As the camera slowly pans across the massive station, it moves from the grand, towering structures to the small, almost insignificant shuttle approaching the docking bay. It is a simple craft, built with Earth's humble technology, carrying with it the hopes and aspirations of a species deemed by many to be primitive. Inside the main hall of the station, representatives from 12 of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations are assembled, their many forms and hues blending together in a sea of diverse alien species. The delegates stand tall and proud, their presence commanding respect, their clothing and biology reflecting their superiority and centuries of evolution. Some communicate with their antennas, others with flashing bioluminescent patterns, while some even pulse with telepathic signals. And then, the shuttle docks, and all eyes turn toward it. Waiting, a slight murmur ripples through the gathering. The delegates exchange curious glances, their minds briefly flickering with anticipation. This is not just any summit. This is the first time Earth has sent a representative to the Galactic Council. And the moment carries with it a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Ambassador Zalix, a seven-limbed creature whose species is known for its prideful elegance, stands near the center of the hall. His body is long and graceful, shimmering slightly in the low light as if his skin was made of liquid chrome. His eyes, multifaceted and cold, flick over the crowd, observing every movement with detached amusement. His voice modulator, a sleek device embedded within his throat, adjusts the pitch of his voice, amplifying the superiority in his tone as he speaks to the delegates around him. Earth has finally sent their representative. Ambassador Zalix muses, his voice dripping with condescension. And I hear they've brought a pet. How quaint. A ripple of amusement runs through the crowd. Expressed in many ways, the Rian delegates twitch their antennae in silent laughter, while the Hulan representatives' chromatic patterns flash in a series of vibrant, mocking colors. The Gazor delegation pulses their neural clusters in synchronized derision, a clear signal of disdain. Sub-Minister Quo, a representative from the Tauran hegemony, stands tall among the alien officials. His skin is translucent, his membranes flashing rapidly as he processes the incoming information. His voice, when he speaks, is almost guttural, thick with disdain. A pet? He repeats, his tone mocking. How primitive. Surely, they've outgrown this barbaric attachment to lesser species. Ambassador Zalix laughs, his 7 arms folding in an elegant gesture. This will be interesting. Let's see how they tried to justify such an odd custom. The tension in the hall thickens, and the assembly of alien dignitaries shifts uncomfortably. Their eyes, still full of judgment, flicker toward the airlock as the doors slowly open with a hiss. The space beyond the threshold is met with an air of curious expectation. The delegates leaning slightly forward, their bodies poised for whatever might come next. And then, she steps through. The human ambassador is a striking figure against the otherworldly beings. Tall for her species, she moves with a practiced grace. Her posture one of confidence. Her every movement fluid and purposeful. Her dark hair is pulled back into a functional style, giving her an air of practicality and competence, as though she has spent years honing the art of diplomacy in the unforgiving expanses of space. Her blue uniform, the traditional garb of Earth's diplomatic corps, clings to her form, a symbol of the planet she represents, small, yet determined. But it's not just her presence that catches the attention of the gathering, it's what follows her. Trotting beside the ambassador, connected by a simple, unassuming leash, is a golden retriever. His fur gleams under the station's artificial light, his ears perked and alert. Every step he takes beside his human companion filled with purpose. The delegates, once so confident in their position of superiority, now find themselves dumbstruck. There, at the very forefront of Earth's diplomatic arrival, stands a non-sentient creature, its tail wagging innocently, utterly unaware of the complexity of the world around it. The assembly falls silent. It's almost as though the entire station holds its breath, waiting for something to happen, some explanation to emerge that can make sense of this anomaly. The human ambassador, with a calm yet undeniable authority, surveys the room of alien dignitaries. Her eyes are sharp, calculating, as if she's already assessed the situation, weighing the value of her words before she speaks. Greetings, esteemed representatives of the Galactic Diplomatic Corps. She begins, her voice steady and measured, betraying no trace of uncertainty. I am the appointed ambassador from Earth. Thank you for welcoming us to Harmonious Unity Station. There is a moment of stillness. And then, a voice breaks the silence. It's Zethela, a delegate from one of the most ancient and advanced civilizations in the galaxy. His 6 eyes blink rapidly, his internal neural clusters whirring with confusion as he takes in the sight of the human and her dog. His voice, when it comes, is filled with disbelief. You've brought a non-sentient organism to a diplomatic summit? Zethela asks, his tone laden with incredulity. A dog? The human ambassador doesn't flinch. Her gaze never falters as she responds, her voice unwavering. Yes, she replies, her expression unyielding. This is my companion. Where I go, he goes. And then, Zane, the golden retriever, sits obediently beside his owner, his head held high, his body relaxed and trusting. His presence, though simple, carries a weight of loyalty and unspoken understanding that no one in the room, no matter how advanced their intellect, could ignore. The room seems to fall into an eerie stillness, a deep, palpable tension hanging in the air. The other delegates stare, unsure of how to proceed. Their minds are scrambling to process the scene before them, to fit it into the neatly organized framework of galactic diplomacy that they have all come to accept as the only truth. In their world, companions and pets are unheard of. Symbiotic relationships exist only between equals. Between those of comparable intelligence. Ambassador Zalix, ever the observer, arches one of his limbs, the action deliberate and slow. His voice, when it breaks the silence, is filled with an almost mocking amusement. How quaint, he says, unable to mask the condescension in his tone. The humans still cling to these archaic customs. His eyes shimmer with a mix of fascination and ridicule. But the human ambassador simply smiles, not a hint of embarrassment on her face. This, she says firmly, is standard diplomatic protocol for human representatives. Zethela, clearly intrigued but also somewhat disgusted, tilts his head. You maintain a master-slave relationship with a lesser species and bring it to formal functions? Do you also bring your food animals to diplomatic events? The human ambassador's smile doesn't waver, but her response is swift and firm. He's not a slave, she says, her tone slightly edged with the patience of someone explaining a simple concept to beings who should, by all accounts, understand. He's family. And no, we don't bring food animals to diplomatic functions. That would be uncivilized. The room is silent once more. There is something about the way she speaks. Something in the way she stands so resolutely with her dog. That causes a ripple of discomfort to spread through the delegates. It's as if they've been confronted with a concept they never thought to question. A stark contrast to the cold, calculated existence they have all come to know. The human diplomat, despite her species' apparent lack of grandeur, has managed to shake the very foundations of their beliefs. The diplomatic reception hall shimmers with the brilliance of light refracted from countless stars. The air is thick with tension, but it remains eerily quiet. Holographic projections flicker above the gathering, showing dynamic displays of planetary systems, trade routes, and scientific advancements from the galaxy's most sophisticated civilizations. The chatter of delegates fills the air, their voices a symphony of alien dialects. Yet every word seems to vanish into a vacuum as the room turns its collective gaze toward the human ambassador and her companion. The delegates, long accustomed to the sight of perfect harmony between their species and others, are shaken by the presence of something so human. A simple dog, with its curious eyes, its loyal gaze fixed on the human ambassador, sits as a silent observer in this grand hall of intergalactic diplomacy. Some of the species had never seen a creature like it before, while others, familiar with Earth's wildlife, merely raised an eyebrow. Yet, it was not the animal itself that had caused such a stir. It was the act of bringing a non-sentient creature to a summit of the galaxy's finest minds. A low murmur runs through the hall, the sounds of disbelief and disdain reverberating off the cold, metallic walls. It's not just confusion, it's something deeper. Something unspoken, shared among the delegates who've ascended far beyond their primitive beginnings. How could such a creature, so far beneath their intellectual and biological levels, play any meaningful role in such a momentous occasion? Chief Negotiator Seville, a being of liquid form with intricate, ever-shifting geometric patterns on its surface, floats towards the ambassador with an expression of confusion that only one of its kind could wear. Its glowing tendrils shift, pulsing rhythmically, indicating agitation. A soft hiss emanates from the alien's form as it asks, its voice carrying a strange, reverberating hum. Your species maintains these relationships? Chief Negotiator Seville's words cut through the room like a sharp blade. How inefficient. The human ambassador, poised and unruffled, meets the alien's gaze without hesitation. Her expression remains calm, her stance confident, though she senses the weight of the many eyes watching her every move. She turns slightly, her hand resting lightly on the golden retriever's back. Zane, his golden fur gleaming in the station's artificial light, seems perfectly at ease, his calm presence offering an unspoken reassurance. The ambassador's gaze softens slightly as she answers, her voice gentle but unwavering. Relationships like this improve life quality, she says, each word chosen carefully, as if speaking to a child who has not yet learned the depth of the universe. Not everything has to be about efficiency. The words hang in the air, and for a moment, the room is still. It's not an answer that fits into the neatly structured expectations of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. Efficiency, logic, and utility are the pillars upon which these societies are built. Their cities, their technology, their economies, they are founded upon the cold, hard metrics of progress. To them, the notion of attachment to a creature with limited intelligence, whose sole purpose is companionship, is a foreign and uncomfortable concept. Sub-Minister Quo, the representative of the Tauran hegemony, speaks next, his voice filled with an almost palpable disdain. His elongated limbs twitch, and the translucent membranes of his body ripple, reacting to the discomfort he feels at the sight before him. His entire being seems to reject the idea of such an emotional bond between a higher life form and a creature that could barely comprehend the complexities of the galaxy. It cannot appreciate art, nor contribute to science. Quo scoffs, his voice dripping with condescension. What value does it provide? There's a chilling silence as his words settle over the room. The other delegates exchange glances, their own thoughts flickering in the recesses of their minds. To them, the question seems logical, pragmatic even. An intelligent species must contribute to the greater good of society. They must advance science, technology, and culture. A creature such as the golden retriever, with its simple mind and primal instincts, could never hope to offer anything of worth in these areas. But the human ambassador, her hand still resting on Zane's back, does not flinch. Instead, she looks down at the dog, who tilts his head up to meet her eyes, his expression filled with trust. She smiles softly, a quiet tenderness in her eyes that seems almost at odds with the cold, clinical atmosphere of the room. Sometimes, she begins, her voice low but firm. It's not about intelligence, it's about loyalty, joy, and unconditional love. Her words are like a gentle breeze passing through the hall, sweeping away the dust of misunderstanding. The concept is simple, yet profound, something so deeply rooted in human experience that it cannot be fully understood by those who have not shared it. It is the bond between a person and the creature they love. A bond that transcends intellect and reason, existing purely on an emotional level. Zane, sensing the shift in energy, stands to his feet, his posture alert yet calm. He looks up at his owner, his eyes filled with unwavering loyalty. The golden retriever has no need for art, science, or complex reasoning. He does not need to understand the intricacies of interstellar politics, the motivations of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, or the lofty ideals of progress. All he needs is the human beside him, the one who feeds him, who loves him, who protects him. As the human ambassador speaks, the room seems to hold its breath, the silence growing thicker with each word she utters. The delegates, who once held their advanced knowledge and superior intellects with such pride, now find themselves caught in a moment of introspection, forced to reckon with something they have long since dismissed as trivial. Something that transcends the bounds of reason. It's about the connection, she continues, her voice unwavering, the bond that goes beyond what can be seen or measured. This creature, my companion, brings joy into my life. He reminds me of the simple things, the things that are often forgotten in the pursuit of progress. He reminds me of what it means to be human. Chief Negotiator Seville, its form shifting with the fluidity of thought, processes her words. For the first time, its rhythmic pulse slows, its geometric patterns flickering with hesitation. The alien delegate, once so sure of the superiority of its species, is now forced to confront a truth it has never before considered. Perhaps there is more to life than the sterile, calculated logic that has governed the galaxy for eons. The room is silent. The flickering holograms above the delegates seem to dim slightly, as if the entire station itself is drawn into the contemplation of the human ambassador's words. Even the Rian delegates, with their antennae twitching in silent thought, pause to reflect. In the corner of the hall, Zane remains at his owner's side, his ears perked as he listens to the exchanges around him. His simple, unwavering loyalty stands in stark contrast to the sophisticated, intellectual discourse of the galaxy's most powerful beings. And yet, it is his very simplicity that causes the greatest stir. The human ambassador stands tall, her gaze steady and unwavering. For a brief moment, it seems as though the weight of the galaxy's judgment is pressing down upon her. But she does not waver. She has spoken the truth, one that cannot be easily dismissed. No matter how advanced the civilizations around her may be, it is a truth that resonates deep within the core of every being present. Something they cannot deny, no matter how much their logic tells them otherwise. The diplomatic reception hall, once filled with the soft murmurs of alien voices and the hum of advanced technology, has now taken on a strange, uneasy stillness. The lights overhead flicker intermittently, casting erratic shadows across the faces of the delegates. The temperature, once perfectly regulated, begins to dip, sending a chill through the air. At first, no one seems to notice, as the discussions continue with the calm precision of seasoned diplomats. But there is an unmistakable shift in the atmosphere, an almost imperceptible sense of something not quite right. The human ambassador, standing at the center of a heated discussion on trade routes with a group of Rian and Hulan delegates, feels it first, a sudden tension in the air, a subtle drop in pressure, as if the very fabric of the station's environment has shifted. Her hand instinctively reaches down to rest on Zane's back, sensing the change before she can fully articulate it. The golden retriever, always calm and composed, now stands with his fur bristling, his body taut and alert. His normally relaxed stance has become one of caution, as though he senses a danger that no one else can yet identify. Zane's head turns, his ears flat against his skull, and his nose twitches in the air. The dog growls softly, the deep rumble emanating from his chest more ominous than usual. A warning that something is amiss. The sound is low, guttural, unnatural in the otherwise peaceful environment of the diplomatic hall. The human ambassador, her eyes narrowing as she studies the dog's behavior, senses a rising unease in her own gut. She looks around, but the alien delegates are still engrossed in their discussions, oblivious to the change in the air. "What's wrong, boy?" she whispers softly, her voice barely above a murmur, but enough for Zane to hear. She drops to one knee, her face level with the dog's. His golden eyes meet hers, and for a moment, a silent understanding passes between them. Zane's growl deepens, and he takes a step back, his body tense, his muscles coiled, ready to spring into action if needed. His gaze shifts towards the far side of the room, where a faint, unfamiliar hum begins to pulse through the station's walls. A cold draft sweeps through the hall, carrying with it a strange metallic scent, something foreign, something wrong. The temperature continues to drop. Even the aliens, with their sophisticated physiology, begin to notice the discomfort in the air, their movements becoming more erratic, their antennae twitching with unease. The human ambassador's gaze hardens, her instincts kicking in. She looks at Zane, knowing without words that something is about to happen, something they aren't prepared for. Her hand tightens on the leash, but she does not pull him closer. There is no need. Zane remains by her side, his loyalty unwavering. The low hum grows louder, now reverberating through the walls, vibrating beneath the floor. A sudden, sharp jolt rattles the station, like a tremor in the very core of the station itself. The lights above flicker, dimming and then going completely dark. A few scattered whispers fill the air, followed by the sound of shuffling feet as the delegates begin to panic. Unsure of what's happening, the once perfectly controlled environment has descended into chaos, and it becomes clear to the human ambassador that they are under attack. The station's intercom crackles to life, but the voice that emerges is not one the ambassador expected to hear. It is low, guttural, and laced with menace, a voice from the depths of space that commands immediate attention. "This station is now under our control," the voice announces, cold and unwavering. "Non-essential sections will be decompressed. Do not resist. Resistance will be met with consequences." The voice lingers for a moment, the words chilling the room to its core. The delegates freeze, their eyes darting around, trying to make sense of what is happening. But there is no time for reasoning, no time for diplomacy. The cold, metallic voice speaks again, this time a warning more direct than before. "Stay in your places. We are the VX sovereignty. Your systems are now ours. We are in control." The human ambassador's eyes widen as the magnitude of the situation dawns on her. The VX sovereignty, a militant faction that had long plagued the Outer Rim, had made their presence known, and they were not here for negotiations. Their sudden, calculated strike sent shockwaves through the assembled delegates. The ambassador steps forward, her voice firm, rising above the rising panic around her. "You'll regret this," she says, her words cutting through the chaos with chilling clarity. Her eyes, usually calm and collected, now narrow with determination. She knows this is no mere diplomatic crisis, it is a battle for survival. But the voice from the intercom is unmoved, cold, and calculating. "You will find that resistance is futile." The voice sneers. Zane's ears perk up, his growl deepening as he scans the room, sensing the danger closing in. His body tenses, every muscle ready to act. The human ambassador knows that her dog's instincts are always spot on. She keeps her hand on his back, but there is no denying the gravity of the situation. She may be outnumbered, and her alien allies may falter. But she knows one thing with absolute certainty: she and Zane are a team. They will survive this, together. As the first signs of chaos begin to ripple outward, the alien delegates panic. Some start to withdraw, others rush to the communications terminals, desperately trying to send distress signals. But in the midst of the confusion, the human ambassador and Zane remain eerily still. The dog, his eyes narrowed with unwavering focus, continues to growl softly, his gaze fixed on a group of approaching figures, VLAC soldiers. The VLAC soldiers, their exoskeletons gleaming under the dim emergency lights, move with eerie precision. Each step is deliberate, as though they have rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. Their massive, Cybernetic limbs click and whir with mechanical efficiency, and their deadly weapons glint in the low light. The human ambassador's heart races. But she stands tall, her eyes never leaving the approaching soldiers. Her mind races, quickly calculating the best course of action. Zane stays by her side, his growl now louder, more insistent. The VLAC leader, a towering figure with a face like jagged metal, steps forward, his eyes narrowing as he surveys the scene. He sneers, the sharp edges of his mandibles clicking with disdain as he eyes the golden retriever at the ambassador's side. The primitive creature is distressed. How amusing, the VLAC leader mutters, his voice dripping with mockery. His soldiers fan out around him, their weapons ready. The human ambassador's voice cuts through the air, firm and unyielding. He's not just a dog, she says, her words laced with quiet intensity. He's family. Stay away from him. Her tone is calm, but beneath it lies a quiet power, the kind that only comes from the bond shared between a human and their loyal companion. Zane's eyes gleam, and for the first time, the soldiers falter, just for a moment. There is something in the way the ambassador stands, in the way she protects her companion, that causes doubt to flicker in their minds. The VLAC leader's sneer deepens, but he does not advance immediately. Instead, he barks an order to his soldiers, who move closer, their weapons trained on the ambassador and her dog. The ambassador stands her ground, her back straight, her eyes unwavering as she faces down the oncoming threat. Zane, by her side, remains ready. He is not just a pet, not just a companion, he is a protector, an extension of the human ambassador's will. In that moment, the true power of their bond is clear to everyone in the room. It is a bond that cannot be easily broken, and the soldiers, despite their weapons and advanced technology, will find that they are about to face something far more dangerous than they ever anticipated. The air within the station is thick with tension, the weight of impending danger pressing down on every being present. The VLAC soldiers move with precision, their towering figures casting long, shadowed silhouettes across the metallic floors of the station. The human ambassador, once calm and collected, now feels the tightening grip of panic as she is led toward the docking bay by the VLAC leader and his soldiers. The station's lights flicker once again, casting erratic bursts of red light that make the scene feel even more surreal and dangerous. Her heart pounds in her chest, not from fear of herself but from the desperate need to protect Zane, the loyal golden retriever who has been at her side through thick and thin. She can feel the weight of the situation, the gravity of the threat that looms over them. She knows that she cannot allow herself to be taken, she cannot leave Zane behind. The VLAC leader's voice cuts through the air like a blade, a cruel mockery of everything the human ambassador stands for. His words drip with disdain, the kind of arrogance only a conqueror could possess. Let's see how well your pet can protect you now. The VLAC leader sneers, his voice low and menacing, his words calculated to break the ambassador's spirit. The soldiers surrounding her are all armed with weapons that hum with deadly power, their exoskeletons gleaming coldly under the emergency lights. The ambassador struggles against the restraints, her eyes scanning the area for any chance of escape. But the docking bay ahead seems to promise nothing but defeat. The human ambassador's mind races, the knowledge of their perilous situation fueling a growing sense of urgency. Her hand clenches around the leash holding Zane, who is still out of reach, struggling against the physical barriers that separate them. The dog's growls, low and guttural, echo in the distance, each rumble vibrating through the ambassador's chest as if he too can feel the crushing weight of their fate. "Don't touch him," the ambassador suddenly shouts, her voice cracking with a desperate pleading that breaks through the cold air. She feels the wave of panic rising in her throat as she calls out to her companion, her protector, the one being who has never failed her. Zane's ears perk up as the sound of her voice reaches him. And for a brief moment, the chaos of the station stills. The tension in the room grows heavier as the human ambassador's cry hangs in the air. But the VLAC leader only chuckles, a low, mocking sound that sends chills down the ambassador's spine. "You think he can stop us?" he mocks, his voice dripping with amusement and cruelty. "This creature is nothing more than an animal. It cannot save you." And yet, as his words echo throughout the bay, a strange energy begins to shift. The sound of Zane's growls, The sound of his determined movements fills the silence between the words, reminding everyone that the bond between the ambassador and the dog is something more than the VLAC leader could ever comprehend. The chaos within the station only escalates. The air is thick with tension, and the sounds of scrambling feet, the hum of energy weapons charging, and the urgent commands of the VLAC soldiers grow louder with every passing second. The human ambassador, struggling to keep her footing in the unstable environment, fights to maintain her composure. But the weight of the moment is too much to bear. The station's systems are still in disarray, the lights flickering erratically, and the gravity fluctuating wildly. Everything is spiraling toward a breaking point. Then, in the midst of the madness, something shifts. A sudden burst of energy, a blur of golden fur, shoots through the station like a comet, cutting through the chaos with a primal determination that no one could have predicted. The VLAC soldiers freeze, their attention momentarily diverted by the unexpected appearance of Zane, the golden retriever, who has managed to break free from his restraints. His eyes, focused with laser-like precision, scan the room, and without a second of hesitation, he charges forward, weaving through the scattered debris of the crumbling station. Zane moves like lightning, his powerful haunches propelling him forward with an agility that seems almost supernatural. His muscles ripple under his sleek golden coat as he ducks under fallen beams and dodges the chaos of energy blasts that streak through the air. He leaps over a fallen soldier, his sharp teeth gleaming as he pushes forward, intent on reaching his human. The sounds of blaster fire and explosions fill the air. But Zane remains undeterred, every step carrying him closer to the one he is bound to protect. The human ambassador, stunned by the sight of her companion's sudden charge, feels a surge of emotion rise within her. A mixture of awe, pride, and fear fills her chest as she watches Zane defy the odds. Moving with an elegance and determination that no one, not even the VLAC soldiers, had anticipated. "He's coming for me," she whispers, a sense of disbelief mingling with admiration in her voice. Her heart skips a beat as she watches her dog push through the chaos. His focus unwavering. "He's coming to save me." The VLAC leader, who had been so certain of his victory, lets out a laugh, a dark, cruel sound that fills the room. "This creature cannot," he begins, his voice trailing off as he watches the golden retriever charge toward them with an intensity that forces even the most hardened of warriors to pause. For a moment, everything seems to freeze. The flickering lights dim further. The noise of battle stutters as Zane makes his final approach. His muscles coil, his body like a finely tuned machine, and in the blink of an eye, he leaps forward, propelling himself directly at the VLAC leader. The golden retriever's focus is entirely on the human ambassador, the one he has sworn to protect, and his movements speak of a connection that transcends the physical realm. "Impossible," the VLAC leader mutters under his breath. But it is too late. Zane reaches him with the ferocity of a storm, his teeth sinking into the cybernetic plating of the leader's armor. The sound of ripping metal fills the air, as Zane's jaws clamp down with the force of years of evolution honed for survival. The VLAC leader stumbles back in shock, his mandibles clicking with confusion. His soldiers, unable to process the sheer audacity of the golden retriever's attack, hesitate for the briefest of moments, long enough for the human ambassador to move. Her eyes lock onto Zane, and with a single command, she springs into action. "Zane," she cries, her voice filled with an edge of fierce determination. "Come on." With a final growl, Zane releases his grip on the VLAC leader's armor. But not before he has left his mark, his actions not only physically disarming the leader but symbolically breaking the hold the soldiers thought they had on the station. In that moment, the connection between human and dog is palpable, a force stronger than any weapon the VLAC could ever wield. The human ambassador stands tall now, no longer the captive, but the force that drives the fight. Zane, panting but resolute, stands at her side. Together, they face the remaining soldiers, their bond unbroken, their determination undeterred. "He's not just a creature," the ambassador declares, her voice ringing clear and strong. A declaration of truth that resonates through the very air. "He's my protector." The VLAC soldiers, now confronted by a force greater than their weaponry, take a hesitant step back, their once confident strides faltering. The balance of power has shifted, and the ambassador and her loyal dog stand as the unlikely defenders of the station, ready to turn the tide. In that moment, the realization is clear: sometimes, the most powerful weapons are not those forged in steel, but those built on loyalty, love, and the bond that ties one soul to another. The tension in the docking bay reaches its peak. The air is heavy with the scent of burned ozone and the faint metallic taste of fear. The once pristine halls of the harmonious Unity station now echo with the sounds of battle, the harsh clatter of boots on metal floors, the occasional hum of energy weapons charging, and the unsettling growl of Zane, the golden retriever, whose eyes are locked onto the VLAC soldiers like an unyielding force of nature. The human ambassador stands firm, her posture tense, every muscle prepared for the confrontation ahead. The VLAC leader, having already been humiliated once by the golden retriever's unexpected attack, now stands with his soldiers in a defensive formation. Their cybernetic armor gleams under the flickering emergency lights, their weapons trained on the duo of human and dog. Zane, with his fur still bristling, prowls in front of his owner. Every step measured, every motion controlled. He knows his role. His eyes are not just alert, they are calculating, seeing every angle of attack, every potential move the VLAC soldiers might make. His instincts are sharp, honed by years of companionship with the ambassador, his protector and leader. The VLAC soldiers hesitate, their confidence shaken. They have faced adversaries before, but nothing like this, nothing with the sheer will to survive and protect that these two, a human and a dog, possess. It is a bond beyond the comprehension of their cold, calculating minds. The leader, gritting his teeth in fury, steps forward, his multiple limbs twitching with impatience. His voice is cold, dripping with venom, but there is a crack of doubt in his tone. "You are nothing," he sneers, his eyes narrowing as he eyes the ambassador and Zane. "This will be your end." But the human ambassador does not flinch. Her eyes are steady, her expression unwavering as she faces him, a calm defiance radiating from her being. Her hand tightens on the small shock baton she holds, concealed under her sleeve, and she moves with purpose toward the VLAC leader. Zane's growl rises to a low rumble, and with a sudden, powerful leap, he charges forward, moving faster than any of the soldiers can react. His movements are a blur of golden fur, his body weaving with uncanny precision through the chaos. The VLAC soldiers fire their weapons, but the dog dodges, moving with a grace and agility that defies everything they know about combat. The ambassador, watching Zane's every move, steps forward in perfect sync with him. Her eyes flick to the approaching soldiers, and with a swift motion, she strikes with surgical precision. A quick twist of her wrist, and a soldier crumples to the floor, incapacitated by a well-placed shock to the neural cluster. Zane leaps over her, landing on another soldier, his teeth sinking into the alien's exoskeleton with bone-shattering force. Together, the pair moves as one, a single unit, an unstoppable force of nature. The soldiers are overwhelmed by their coordination. Zane, who was once dismissed as a mere pet, has now become the very embodiment of power and precision. His attacks are calculated, his every move designed to disable, not destroy, yet the speed and force with which he strikes leave the VLAC soldiers reeling, unable to keep up. In the midst of the chaos, the VLAC leader charges toward the ambassador, his mandibles clicking with anger as he raises his weapon, ready to strike. But Zane is faster. With a growl that sends chills through the air, he leaps toward the leader, intercepting his path with the full force of his body. The impact is enough to knock the VLAC leader back, his weapon falling from his grasp. The ambassador, seeing the opening, moves like a shadow, her precise strike landing with deadly accuracy. With a swift blow, she disables the VLAC leader's neural system, leaving him paralyzed on the floor, his eyes wide with disbelief. "You underestimated us, and him," she says, her voice low, steady, and filled with fierce pride. The words hang in the air, resonating with the power of the moment. The once mighty leader of the VLAC is now a broken, defeated figure at her feet. Zane, ever loyal, stands at her side, his golden eyes gleaming with pride and readiness. The battle is won, not through superior technology or firepower, but through the unbreakable bond between a human and her companion. The aftermath of the battle is eerily quiet. The only sound the distant hum of the station's emergency systems coming back online. The once chaotic docking bay now lies in disarray. The bodies of incapacitated VLAC soldiers strewn across the floor. The human ambassador stands amidst the wreckage, her breath steady, her eyes scanning the area, ensuring that the threat has truly passed. Zane stands beside her, his chest heaving as he pants, his fur matted with the remnants of the battle. But despite the exhaustion that grips his body, there is no fear in his eyes, only the quiet confidence of a protector who has fulfilled his duty. The atmosphere in the room is thick with the unspoken realization of what has just transpired. The other delegates, who had once dismissed the bond between the ambassador and her dog as insignificant, now stand in stunned silence, their eyes wide with disbelief. They had witnessed something that could not be explained by logic, something that defied their understanding of what it meant to be a protector, a partner, and a warrior. The chief science officer, Vin, steps forward cautiously. His eyes are filled with a mixture of awe and contemplation. His many arms twitch with uncertainty as he processes the events that unfolded before him. Perhaps, Vin begins, his voice softer than usual. We have underestimated the bond between you and your companions. The human ambassador, who had been watching Zane with a mixture of pride and affection, looks up at Vin. She smiles, her expression gentle but firm. She reaches down to scratch behind Zane's ears, and the dog leans into the touch, his tail wagging slowly. It's not about intelligence or advancement, she replies, her voice calm, her words carrying the weight of a lesson learned through battle. It's about what really matters: loyalty, love, and family. The words resonate in the silence of the room, and for the first time, the alien delegates, once so quick to dismiss humanity as a lesser species, find themselves reconsidering everything they thought they knew. They had seen the power of advanced technology, the brilliance of the galaxy's greatest minds, and the might of alien forces, but none of that had prepared them for the raw, primal power of the bond shared between a human and her loyal dog. As the delegates exchange glances, a new understanding begins to take root in their minds. Perhaps there is more to strength than the cold, calculated precision of their civilization. Perhaps true power lies not in technology, but in the simple, enduring relationships that transcend species, that bind one heart to another in a way that no weapon or intellect ever could. And as the human ambassador stands tall, her dog by her side, she knows that this moment, this bond, will forever change the course of galactic history. What did you think? Did the bond between the human ambassador and her dog surprise you? This powerful tale proves that strength doesn't always come from advanced weapons or alien technology. It's the unspoken connections between us that make us truly unstoppable. Now, we want to hear from you. How do you think humanity will be perceived in the galaxy after this epic display of loyalty and courage? Let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And remember, this is just the beginning. Make sure to subscribe for more gripping stories of humanity's ascent in the galaxy, where we're not just surviving, we're conquering, one bond at a time. Stay tuned for more adventures right here on Ascension HFY Extra.